Hey, Abundant Parents, it's Leah. I have Rachel here with Quinlan Tarot, and in this video, you're going to learn all about shuffling, storing, and clearing your tarot deck. Hey, Abundant Parents, it's Leah. I have Rachel here with Quinlan Tarot, and this is just a little video to share with you how to care for your tarot decks and just some general maintenance, which you may hear around the internet as you start to explore tarot a little bit more. And we just wanted to clarify it all for you so you can feel comfortable with this new art you may be kind of tapping into. So Rachel, thank you for being here. Thanks for sharing all of your expertise. Can you tell us a little bit about deck maintenance? I know there's a lot that goes into it. There's special ways to shuffle it and clear it and all that jazz.
Certainly. There are so many different ways to take care of your deck, and probably anyone you ask is going to have their own way that they like to take care of a deck. So I'm just going to share a couple of ways that I found to be really useful for me. But as with anything that you do, take everything with a grain of salt and really work with what works best for you.
Perfect.
So when we first get our decks, they usually come in a box. And boxes can be sturdy, they can be flimsy. If you're using your deck all of the time, or if you're taking it around with you, the box can tend to get really beat up. This is a really sturdy box, so it's one that I like to keep this deck in, for example. But a lot of people like to take it a little bit above and beyond, infuse their own energy with the deck, which I think is really important. So there are a couple of different things that you can store your deck in when you first get it that I really love. Some people say you have to store it in a silk scarf that was found at midnight under the full moon, but really I think it's anything that really has special meaning to you is going to be best. So some of my decks, if I'm not traveling with them, I'll keep them in something like a box. My main deck that I use all of the time, I keep in a little bit of a silk pouch.
Did you find it at midnight under a full moon?
Oh, I wish I did. I found it at a New Age store, and I picked it up. But it does have special meaning for me. The symbolism, the colors, it drew me in. Others I do wrap in cloths and handkerchiefs from my great-grandmother, things that do have special meaning to me. But my everyday deck I store in a pouch. And I usually keep something with my cards that kind of helps energize the deck. I like to keep a little stone in it that helps just connect me, and sometimes I'll charge the stone under the full moon. And then I like to keep my cards in it and I can pull them out and take them, and it helps keep the cards in good working order.
I can tell that this is a loved deck.
This is a well-used deck. I actually store a pinch of tobacco in this deck, so it has a little bit of brown around the edges. But so when you first get your deck, the cards can feel a little bit stiff. They can feel a little bit stale. And what I really recommend people do with this is just start shuffling the cards. Just hold them in your hand, carry them around with you. When you're talking on the phone, just start handling them. Because what we're doing is tarot cards are not magic inherently. They're tools that a magical person uses, and all of us are magical.
We are.
So we infuse our energy with the cards to create a bond. So I start by just shuffling them like this. The way I was taught is I don't ever shuffle my cards like a deck of cards, how you just... But some people do. To me, that feels a little bit jarring, but you might feel it differently. The way I love to shuffle cards, always, is I shuffle them like this.
Okay.
And when you're starting to draw tarot cards, some people have, you must cut the deck 4 times, and there are these elaborate rituals called the opening of the key, which I encourage anyone to look into if you want to get super nerdy about it. What I have always done is...
we're both nerds, so when we say nerdy, we mean that in the nicest way.
Best possible way.
Sorry, you guys, I've taken this ball away a couple times now.
When I am working with the cards, I wait for a card to talk to me. So what does talk to you mean? So for me, that means maybe I'll feel a little buzz. Maybe one of the cards will start working its way out of the deck. Maybe I'll feel a warmth in the cards. So learn what the language is of your deck with you, and you'll start noticing as you're running your fingers over, you'll go, oh, this card's talking to me.
And I'm pretty new to tarot. For me, when I kind of get the messages that I'm supposed to lean into a particular card, it's pretty simple language for me right now. It's like I clearly hear this one, and then it'll be like, okay, maybe that's just what I'm thinking about all the cards. So I'll look at another card and I'll be like, this one, and it's like, nope, that other one. So you just have to trust. Your mind is telling you, and you just have to trust that.
I cannot emphasize what you said enough. I always think, and when I teach people tarot, we get that. You'll pull this card and you'll think, oh, I was accidentally thinking about my neighbor. Maybe I need to pull another one. The way that we create a strong bond with our cards and get the best messages is by trusting. It's faith all the time. So when you pull a card, we are trusting that this is the exact message that we need to hear at that time. And the more we trust the cards, the more we will reinforce that belief and that power that we have with the cards. I have gotten spreads that I went, I don't like this. I don't want this one. Let's put this back. That's not how it works. We have to trust that these are the messages that are meant for us. And that's how we get the most profound meaning drawn out of our decks.
And I can definitely see where you're kind of building that trusting relationship with your tarot. So taking that extra time to carry it with you and to shuffle it in a way that feels like it resonates with how you want to have your relationship with your deck.
And with that being said, there are sometimes that our cards need a little bit of rejuvenation, a little bit of maintenance. And so that's when clearing, charging, and cleansing your deck comes in.
So now tell us a little bit about cleansing and clearing the deck, because I hear people talk about this all the time, and sometimes it can be confusing if you're kind of new to tarot and just kind of figuring it all out.
Absolutely. So I use my deck all the time because it's a work tool for me. And so I'll notice that the cards might, to me, start feeling a little bit sticky or heavy. Now this could literally just be from my grubby fingers holding it all the time, but energetically they can get heavy too. So there are a lot of different ways to clean our deck. If we are receiving a deck as a gift, that it's a used deck, what I always encourage people to do is maybe bury it in some salt for a little while. And that just cleans all of the previous energy out of it. Other ways you can do it is you can use smoke medicine. So if you have sage or Palo Santo or some kind of incense, I will literally take every card and just waft it through
One by one.
One by one.
Okay.
Just sort of with the intention to clean it. And also, when we use smoke medicine, we are taking stagnant energy away and introducing new energy in. So smoke medicine is beautiful because it has that sort of dual purpose remedy. Some of my cards, and this is where I get really kind of witchy, some of my cards have preferences. So some like to be spritzed with rose water.
Within like one specific deck? Really interesting.
But that's a whole next level thing. But I really like to use smoke medicine to clean my cards. Sometimes I will put them under the full moon to charge them.
Now, do you spread them out when you do that?
I will spread them out, and I'll usually put it in a windowsill or something and not leave it to the elements to rain on my parade, so to speak. Because the moon has to do with our intuition. The moon has to do with sort of the hidden side of nature. So when we put it under the moon, we're reconnecting the cards with that energy of our intuition, with that influencing aspect of nature.
Well, and so far as my beliefs is that, you know, we are all energy, and even our perception is energy. I know you clear crystals with the moon. We were talking about the scarf under the moonlight. I mean, the moon, since the beginning of recorded history of man, has always been such a huge part of our lives. So it just makes sense from an energetic standpoint that it would be very cleansing.
And charging. It helps us reconnect with that intuition that we have, because our intuition belongs to the universe, and so we're just reconnecting the whole circuit, I guess, so to speak.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for giving us all of that information on storing, clearing, the getting started with a new deck. This is going to be really helpful. Rachel was a guest on the Abundant Parent Community Workshops. It's a membership. Each month I host an expert in their field, and the workshops are to help you as a parent bring tools to not only yourself but also your children and your family. And this particular workshop was really great because it's really helping you teach your children about using their intuition, specifically tarot, as a tool. So be sure to catch the workshop. You can find it on theabundantparent.com. You can also find Rachel on QuinlanTarot.com. You can catch her workshop. You can also catch her on her website. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you all soon.
Thank you.
Bye.